everybody, it's me Stacy here at Scrapbooking Made Simple with another YouTube demo for you today. Now, can you guess where I've been over the past week? Hello. We were so fortunate, my family and I have two boys who are 10 and 11 and a wonderful husband, and we had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to travel to Florida and go to Disney World and Epcot, and we did, and we had the most amazing time. So immediately following the anniversary sale on September 29th, literally immediately following, they came to the store, they picked me up, my bags were packed, and off to the airport we went. So I am back, and I have another wonderful YouTube demo for you today. We are playing with Tim Holtz Distress Stains and Technique Tuesday Greenhouse Society stamps. There's a lot of information in this YouTube, so I hope you stay with me, and I'm gonna go ahead and tilt on down, and we are going to get started for today. Okay, down we go. Bye. All right, I think that's pretty good. What do you guys think? Yeah, okay, good. All right, distress inks. There's a lot of questions about distress inks. What are they? How do they work? Just briefly, Tim Holtz has a line called Distress, and there's markers, there's ink pads, there's stain, and there's re-inkers. Yes, they all work together, but no, they're not all the same. The distress pads we use quite frequently. A lot of people think that this is the distress pad that you would use to go around your paper to give it a distressed look, and you can do that if you're using the blending tool, but this isn't necessarily what the pad is for. All of these items work with water, and if you spray water on them or you get water on them, they interact with water, giving you a distressed look. You can absolutely use the Tim Holtz blending tool and go around the paper to give it a distressed look, but if you're looking to do this, this probably isn't what you want. It's not what it's normally used for. The pad is awesome. You can stamp with it, use the ink to stamp with it. You can use the ink to make backgrounds. It has wonderful, wonderful features. And we do use it a lot here at Scrapbooking Made Simple. It comes in, I think, 36 colors, and you can't go wrong, especially because it works with water, and you'll see what I mean in a little bit. Next is a re-inker. This is the Distress Re-Inker. This is a highly concentrated form of what's in this pad. So if this pad goes dry, you don't want to repurchase it again. You want to buy the Distress Re-Inker. And about one dauber full, squeeze it, get one full dauber full, will re-ink this pad. And you would just put it over and then really work it in so that it regenerates this pad. Again, it's a highly concentrated liquid, so putting this direct to paper is not going to give you the same color as you would get from the pad. It's that concentrated. So you don't really want to use this without it being on the pad first. Now, some people have taken, and we've done it, where you take a little bit of your re-inker, mix it with water, and put it in a mini mister, and then you can spray with it and spray your color. Absolutely fine, works fabulously. The only problem that you have is that if you want to go back and rework it with water, let's say I've sprayed my color and I've moved it around a little bit, and then I want to go back with plain water and spray it again, it doesn't always work. Once the pad, or once your color has been activated with water, you can't always go back and add more water to reactivate it. And since you're diluting this with water, it kind of takes that property away. And again, I'm going to show you what we mean by diluting with water and spraying with water when we get the distress stains. So really, you can use this in a mini mister to spray. You can't really use it on its own. It's just too concentrated. The color's too dark. It really is meant to re-ink your distress pad. Next, we have the distress markers, and those have been around, gosh, maybe for 6 months, and boy, getting your hands on them in the beginning was a little difficult, but now not so bad. This is a pen, a dual tip pen that lets you color. You can color straight onto your stamps. You can color in your stamps. It gives you a lot of function, and yes, this color and this color are identical. They're going to be exactly the same when you use them together. So the marker is a really great way to, again, color your stamps, or if you're stamping and you want to color in. And again, yes, it reacts with water, so it will give you a watercolor effect. Keep in mind, you cannot use these with Copic. Not so much. They say the black suit sometimes will work, but you probably need to heat set it. Stay with your Memento if you're going to use Copic. That's our feeling. Last but not least is the Distress Stain. And it is different than the Reinker. It's not as concentrated as the Reinker. It is basically a liquid form of the Distress pad. It's a liquid form. Now, why would you want a liquid form of this ink? Well, the pad has a felt top, and yeah, you can do backgrounds by moving it around, and yes, you can spray some water on it, but for true blending, really blending your colors, you really want to use the stain. That's where you're going to get the best effect. And we're going to use the stain today. That's what I'm going to show you. Because there are a lot of questions. Well, why do I need the pad? Or why do I need the stain if I already have the pad? They work totally different, but together. You'll never get the fluidity out of the pad because you're working with a felt pad on top. You'll always have a beautiful fluid motion with it. It moves beautifully with the stain. And yes, they are exactly the same color. So these three items, when they come out, are exactly the same. This is a spiced marmalade. So I've got the spiced marmalade pad, the spiced marmalade stain, and the spiced marmalade pen. If you were to take the spiced marmalade reinker and put it directly to paper, it is not going to look like these. It's going to be very concentrated and very dark. Okay, so Distress ink, 4 different types: pad, reinker, stain, and marker. And they do all work together. 36 colors, I think, in each. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me just move those out of the way. Now, when you get your dauber, your Distress Stain dauber, it comes with this little foamy pad. Okay, that's your dauber on the top. I'm going to tell you that if you're working on your project and you're using a Distress Stain for the first time, do not take that project and go ahead and start right away with this. It's got a seal underneath this little foamy pad, and you need to push down on it, and you'll hear a little pop, and then the liquid will gush a little bit. So you want to do it on a surface that you don't care about, because if you were working on the final page of your album or on the most perfect card you've ever made, and you just wanted to add a little bit of this color, and you pressed down on it and it gushed, and that's not what you wanted, oh no. So keep in mind when you open them, just take it and put it onto a craft mat and give it a little daub, and it will gush out. These obviously have already been opened, but it will gush out, and then you're good to use them. Keep a little wet wipe. Then you're good to go, okay? So that's the stain. Now, there's different techniques to use with the stain, and I'm just gonna go over a few of them really quick, because I think most of you or some of you have seen these before, so I don't want to take too long. I want to get into using the Technique Tuesday stamp that we have from Greenhouse Society and showing you what we've done with that. But you can take the stain and you can put it directly to a craft mat, and you can kind of put the color down. Now you notice that I'm not going through the color. I'm putting the color down in separate areas, and I'm trying to not go through the color. Now, if you do go through the color and you get, let's say I got green on top of this, that's okay. It comes right out. You would just blend it out over here until that green is gone. You can do it, but I'm trying not to keep my colors from getting muddy, so I'm trying to keep them a little bit separate. Now, what makes the Distress Stain is that it works very well with water. I'm going to take a mini mister by Ranger, and I'm just going to give my paper a spray. So I've got it a little bit wet. I'm going to lay it right down on my colors, and I'm going to swirl. I don't know if those of you have seen Tim Holtz do this, but they blend. If I need a little more color, I can put a little more color down. And I can keep swirling until I'm happy. And you get an awesome background. Beautiful backgrounds. Now, the paper, as you can see, because it's wet, is starting to fold a little bit. It's starting to bow a little bit. Don't worry about that. When it dries, it will flatten out. If you're really worried about it, you can take your mini mister and you can put a little bit of a spray on the back side, and like magic, it'll flatten your paper out. Just a little bit of a spray on the back side to flatten your paper out if you don't want to wait until it dries. But I promise you, when it dries, it will be okay. So you can take your stain, and it's very much in this application like a alcohol ink, where you just kind of put it on your craft mat, and you can even add a little water directly to the stain if you would prefer. And put your paper in and pick up all your color. See, I made a little bit of mud. Put a little bit of water and pick up all your color. And if you want it to react more, you can add more water, and the colors will blend out. They'll blend into each other and they will blend out. And you can make absolutely beautiful backgrounds with it. It's very easy to do. Just realize that yes, your paper's going to get a little bit wet, but I promise you it will flatten out. And if you don't want to wait for it to dry, you absolutely can take your heated tool, the best tool for embossing and drying, the heated tool, and you can dry this pretty quickly and everything will lay flat. It will be okay. All right, so that's one technique for using your stain. Another technique that we do, and let me just wipe this up really quick. Boy, I'm good at making a mess. But I guess all crafters are good at making a mess. All right, I'm going to put my paper down, and I am going to, again, I'm going to spray directly to my paper a little bit of water. I'm going to take my stain, let's see, I'm going to start it over here just a little bit, just so it has a little bit of room, and I'm just going to take it. Can you see how it's reacting with that water? Can you see that? Can you see how it's just kind of liquid and moving? You can't get that from the pad. You just can't. It doesn't have enough fluidity to it. So I'm going to spray maybe a little bit more water. And if I wanted, I could just take my paintbrush and I could move some of my ink. Take a little bit more of my color, put it down. It's really up to you. It's whatever you want to do. And you can just color away until you've got the coloring that you want. Let's see. And again, if you spray, it's going to loosen that color up and move it around a little bit more. Now, the wetter your paper, the more it's going to move. And that's how we did these two backgrounds. I had the paper very, very, very wet. And I took my stain, I put it down, I took a basic paintbrush, and I just literally blended them. Let me see if I can get a paper wet enough to do that. Let's see, spray again. Put a little bit down. Can you see how it's just reacting? It just looks like watercolor. You can take your paintbrush and just paint with it until you have exactly what you want. Very easy to do. And this is for making great backgrounds. And I'm just painting with it. Give it another little spray if I want. Just know the water's not going to hurt the stain. That's what helps make it move. So you can just keep going and going and going and going until you're happy. So that's another technique using the stain. And I've got beautiful samples down here that I'll show you in a few minutes on what we've done to get the backgrounds. Next thing I want to show you with the stain is what we've done, and we did it in a make and take. Let me show you, let's see, let me show you the card. So we've got this one, this sample, and this sample. Okay, so these are the cards that we did for a free make and take here at the store, and we used a Technique Tuesday Greenhouse Society stamp and a Spellbinder die, and we fussy cut it out, but we actually colored with the stain, and I want to show you how we did that. Now, Greenhouse Society is a collection by Technique Tuesday. They only make one stamp a month. It is a club, so to speak, so that if you sign up, you get the opportunity to buy the one stamp that they come out with every month. Greenhouse Society is pretty beautiful. They're just gorgeous stamps. And of course, being that it's called Greenhouse Society, the stamps are all nature or floral related. Now, I didn't necessarily want to do a club online, so what we've decided to do is go ahead and put the stamps on sale or in the online store, and they sell for $13. We're going to offer you free shipping, always on a Greenhouse Society stamp. You will never pay shipping on a Greenhouse Society stamp. You don't have to join a club. If the stamp is there and you want it, buy it, and you won't pay shipping for it. But know that once Technique Tuesday is out of these stamps, they don't remake them. They only make a certain amount each month, and when they're sold out, they're sold out. Similar to Couture Creations and their embossing folders. This is this month's stamp, and yes, we have some left. Again, it's $13. And look you've got fabulous little sentiments that go with it, and the stamp itself is absolutely gorgeous. This stamp was from a month or two ago, and we have a few of these left. So no matter what Greenhouse Society stamp you choose, there will never be shipping on them. They will always ship for free. Just don't wait too long, okay? So let me move those off to the side and let me grab the stamp. Now, of course, we're using our Tim Holtz grid blocks, my grid blocks, because I love them. They're the best. And the stamp is a clear stamp, and it just clings right on that block, and you just take it on and off and on and off and on and off and use it again and again and again. To clean the stamp, I use baby wipes or a little bit of Dawn dishwashing detergent. I know there's lots of stamp cleaners out there. I just find that it's not necessary. A little bit of baby wipe or Dawn dishwashing detergent will do the trick on all of your stamps, including your rubber stamps. Save your money. I mean, I hope nobody's going to get too upset with me about not touting stamp cleaner. I just find that baby wipes and Dawn dishwashing detergent do just the same, and save that $5.99 or $10.99 that you're spending on stamp cleaner and buy yourself another stamp. That's how I feel. So I've got the stamp here, and I'm going to use Versamark. Versamark is a medium that allows you to emboss. It's also a watermark. So if I was using a patterned paper or a colored paper, I could stamp with Versamark, and it would leave the image without changing the paper. It would just leave a beautiful soft image like a watermark. But we're going to use it for embossing today. So I've got it all inked up. I'm going to grab my paper. I want to use this one. I'm going to grab my paper. I'm going to go ahead and give a good press down. And pull up. Now I can see, but you can't see, I can see that there's an image there. I can see the watermark. Now I'm taking detailed black embossing powder, and this is really important. This is by Stampendous, and it's not the same as your typical black embossing powder. A typical black embossing powder is not as fine. It doesn't get into the nooks and crannies of the stamp, and when you heat it, it spreads more. If you're working with stamping and you want to get all of that detail, you have to use a detailed black embossing powder or a detailed embossing powder. I know that they make it in white. I think we have it in gold. I think we have it in silver. So I can just take this and put this all the way around. You will not get the same image if you use a standard black embossing powder. You want to use a detailed image. Can you see how it has picked up all the fine lines of that stamp? And when you heat it, it doesn't spread and move, it just heats. If you've got fine detailed stamps, LeBlanc stamps, notorious for being highly detailed, Stampendous, Technique Tuesday, a lot of companies have beautiful, fine, detailed stamps. Do yourself a favor and get the Stampendous Detailed Black Embossing Powder. If you're doing anything with script, if you've got a stamp that's got any kind of script on it at all, and you want that script to come out perfect every single time, Detailed Black Embossing Powder. Just ask Terry. She was here for a crop and she was stamping with an amazing Stampendous Halloween stamp. Oh my gosh, it was gorgeous. It had like a crow or a raven on it, and it had script on it, but it kept coming out yucky. It would just all melt into each other. She was using the wrong embossing powder. I pulled out the detailed black embossing powder. We did it. It came out perfect, and everybody was happy. All was right with the world. So now that I've got my detailed black embossing powder on there, I would take my heat it tool and I would heat this up until it melts and becomes solid. Now, it doesn't take that long, and you do kind of have to watch, and it will turn a darker black while it's doing it. So I've got one already done. This has been embossed. It's all been heated, all good to go. And again, you can see that it didn't spread the powder. This one's the powder, this one's the embossing. It did not spread out. It stayed exactly where it was to give you the most amazing finished product. Detailed black, detailed silver, detailed gold. I think we have detailed white. You want detailed. Now, back to the stains. Super easy way to color is with your stains. I'm just gonna go in there and I'm just gonna dab some color. I didn't even put water down. Did you see that? I'm just gonna dab some color in there. Put a little tea dye, dab some color. Maybe a little bit of my, where's my spiced marmalade? I don't know, right here. Add a little bit of color. And if you can believe it, I've now colored my stamp. It's done. You don't have to take Copics every time, or you don't have to take markers every time to go in there and color. Let's add a little bit of green. Oh, this green's way dark. Add a little green. And it's done. Now I know you're thinking, okay, but you've made a mess all the way around. Well, we're going to take our fussy cut scissors. These are from Elizabeth Craft Designs. They are fussy cutting scissors. That's what we call them. Those of you who shopped for our anniversary sale, first I should also tell you, I think by tomorrow, almost 90% of all the orders will have been shipped. So look for your shipping confirmation in today or tomorrow, okay? There's a lot of orders going out today and tomorrow. But these fussy cutting scissors are the best thing ever. They get into the detail without getting your hands are not tired because they're not being shoved into two little holes, and they pivot on a dime. I mean, they really are. If you cut anything, if you do any kind of cutting, the fussy cut scissors are what you're going to want. And they are amazing. I know we sold, oh my gosh, I want to say over 100 pair during the anniversary sale. But they just get right in there and do the work for you. And all I'm doing is pivoting. And because I'm not sticking my hands in any holes, there's no pressure on my fingers. It's easy. You can cut forever, and the detail is fabulous. So I would go in there and I would fussy cut out my stamp from Technique Tuesday. So real quick, once again, I'm going to start with my lightest stain. And I didn't put any water down. And I'm just going to dab a little bit of that color around. I'm going to take another color. This time I've got Rusty Hinge. I'm just going to put a little bit of Rusty Hinge down. If I want, I can take a little bit of a paintbrush just to take them around. Dries pretty darn quick. And I have got my sunflower colored. It's that simple. These stains work that great and they're that fast, as opposed to taking markers and going in and coloring every little thing. You don't have to do that. It's all done with the stain. Now if I wanted, I suppose I could add water and it would react, and it would move them around a little bit. Let's see if I can. The water will always soften them. It'll give you more of a watercolor effect. It'll dilute the color a little bit. I've added water. Let's let that dry for a few minutes, but you can already see how it's diluted the color. That really only happens with the distress line, the distress inks, the distress stains, the distress markers. If you want that diluted watercolor effect, this is how you get it. You take a mini mister and you just mist, and you can mist again and again to get the look that you're going for. So we have fussy cut out our sunflower, and the samples are right here. Two totally different samples. This one's lighter in color. This one's a little bit darker. Now the strips, they almost look like ribbon. They look like the crepe ribbon. All we did was take paper, plain cardstock, and we just went straight onto the cardstock. Straight onto the cardstock. And just colored it. Let it dry, and it's good to go. Now, if your dauber is not wet enough, it's going to leave streaking. You need to be sure that you've kind of given it a little test right there, and then you're good to go. You really want to make sure it's nice and juicy and moving well, that the liquid is moving well, so you get a nice solid effect. And yes, if you want it darker, you can do that. These bottles, while it's a rigid plastic, you can absolutely press onto them. And if you do, just move those out of the way. See how curly they are? I promise, when they dry flat. And you can take your heat tool and you can heat it so it flattens out. You can wait till it dries on its own, or you can take your mini mister, give it a little bit of a mist, and it'll flatten out all by itself. Yes, see? Flattened out all by itself. That's the one I misted the back. Here's the one that I didn't. If I gave this one a little bit of a mist on the back, it'll flatten out all by itself. And you can use that tip with anything. If you're doing your tattered angels or your fireworks, if something starts to bow, just turn it around, give it a quick spritz of water. So let's say I want to make them a little bit darker. So here I've got one color, but if I squeeze my bottle, I can make the color as dark as I want. Just depends upon how much fluid, how much liquid's coming out. It's totally up to you. And this is straight onto paper. See how dark I've got it? You can also use it on canvas. Works great on canvas. Put it straight to the canvas. And that fluid just absolutely absorbs right into that canvas. So if you're doing altered art or any project like that, you absolutely can go straight to canvas without any problem. And again, if you want it softer, if you want it a little more watercolor looking, you can take it and just add some water and it'll blend it out, it'll dilute it a little bit and make it a little bit softer. So we've got these samples here that we've done. I want to show you a few more. Again, it looks like crepe ribbon, but honestly, all it was was paper. I know, isn't that fabulous? And the beautiful Greenhouse Society stamp. It's just gorgeous, and you can see how fussy cutting it right out was just as easy as pie using the Elizabeth Craft fussy cut scissors. They're $10. They'll be on the YouTube Yummy, so if you didn't get them at the anniversary sale, I would certainly get them. All right, so let's show you some other samples that we've done. Ooh, let me clean up my mess just a little bit and wipe it down. I will tell you, for playing with this and alcohol inks, you absolutely want this craft mat. Nothing sticks to it. It's amazing. Everything wipes right up, and it makes things so much easier. All right, so here we've done the background. Here we've done a background card. And we have used the new Spellbinders labels. What are they calling this? Fancy framed tags, which is really nice. What they've done now a little bit differently is they've given you the outside and an inside. So if you want to layer, you can now layer. It used to be you just got one big label. Now they've given you a little piece that goes inside. So you can pop it out if you want. They didn't do that before. I really like it. Very nice. And that's what they did on this card, is we used the label and then we used the smaller piece to pop out the sentiment. But you can see how we've blended all of the Tim Holtz distress stains, and then we used the Technique Tuesday stamp right on top. And this one we stamped, I think, with Memento. I'm thinking Memento to get the look. Beautiful, isn't it? All right, so we've got that one. Here is another where again we made the background, and then we used two different color inks. We stamped the back in a brown, probably Rich Cocoa by Memento, and then we stamped with the Versamark and embossed this with black. Isn't it gorgeous? Very sophisticated, very, very sophisticated cards. I really like these. Here's another where we've used the embossing and we've created the background. And you can just, I tell you, Christy the SMS girl, I had to get on her because she was making these samples and she was making background after background after background. Is this one not gorgeous? It reminds me of Aurora Borealis. But she was making background after background. It's like, Christy, you gotta make a finished card. I can't just show backgrounds. But she must have had a dozen of them lined up because she was having so much fun just making the backgrounds. Is that gorgeous? And here, we used another Greenhouse Society stamp. Sadly, it is no longer available. We have sold out. But she just plopped down the colors and added a little water and made a very cute card. See, it doesn't always have to be, you know, this has got a beautiful watercolor, just fun look to it. Here we have another of the sunflower where we actually put glitter in the center. And this time we didn't fussy cut it. We just took a little bit, how we did this real quick is we took a little bit of our distress stain, took it right to our craft mat, took a paintbrush, picked it up, and went right in there and painted it. It is so much faster than using markers, I can't even tell you. Just picked it right up, put a little bit on our craft mat, put a little water on our paintbrush, went in there and just painted it in. Super fast, super easy. Let's see, I've got some more here. Oh, I've got lots more. Here we've got another. And this time what she did is she cut the whole, oh, Christy's gonna be mad at me. Shh, I just got distress stain on her. Shh. She cut a hole in the front of the card and put the sentiment there using the Spellbinders. A die set, what did I call it? I called it Fancy Frame Tag 2. So she actually cut the top of the card to give a window. Oh, she's not going to be happy. That's okay. Shh, we won't tell her. And then here we've got a very painted look using the stains. And she's got the blues and the greens. She's got the whole rainbow here. Just by swiping them on. Here they've colored another poppy. Very pretty. This one has a very watercolory look to it. Even the background, this is all done. This background was all done with the distress stains and water. Just moving it around, giving it a very soft, very yummy background. Here we have the Christmas, and sadly we are out of this Greenhouse Society stamp too. Isn't that pretty? Same thing, background. This background was completely done with the Tim Holtz Distress Stains. Here we did a red. The label was done with the stains. The border here was done with the stains, and the sunflower kind of giving it a more of a poinsettia look for Christmas. Very pretty. And then we've got this one as well, where she stamped all the poppies and then stained them and then cut them out with the fussy cut scissors. And then she used the other Greenhouse Society stamp here. So, what have we learned today? We have learned that Tim Holtz makes distress ink pads that you can absolutely use as for stamping. You can use them to swipe and make backgrounds. You can do that. They work well with water. They are not going to blend as nicely as the stains. The stain is a fluid liquid version of the distress ink pad. We learned that they have distress ink markers. Now these 3 items will all be the same color when you put them on your paper. They will all match beautifully and they all work well together. And the distress product really is meant to work with water, and it moves and gives you a beautiful finished look. Absolutely love it. The re-inker, however, is not the same. This is a highly concentrated form of the distress ink that's on the pad. You can use this and dilute it into a mini mister and make a spray out of it if you want to spray and you're using stencils. But other than that, you really want to just use it on your distress pad. And it's about 1 dauber full to re-ink this whole pad. So let me tell you, this sells for I think $4, and the limited edition ones I think sell for $5. This is going to last you a lifetime. Do not buy another pad. Just get your re-inker and you'll be set. Okay? We learned that you can take your detailed embossing powder, which I don't know where detailed embossing powder from Stampendous with your Versamark, stamp your stamp, heat it up with your Heat It tool, and it keeps the fine lines of your stamp. If you are stamping and you are embossing and you're not using a detailed embossing powder, try it. When you see the difference, I think you will be so happy. Anytime you've got fine lines and fine detail, you want to use the Stampendous Detailed Embossing Powder. It makes the world of difference. Okay? And then we just took our stain and put our stain right down and then fussy cut out with our Elizabeth Craft Design scissors. We just fussy cut it right out to give us that right there. You can take the stains directly to paper. You can take them directly to canvas. You can take them directly to ribbon. There's really not much you can't do with these, and they do create beautiful backgrounds. Absolutely gorgeous backgrounds, but you don't always have to do backgrounds. You can also color with them. Okay, you've got lots of options with the stains. Now, I think that's about it. Now we'll have a YouTube Yummy. Of course, we'll have all of the Tim Holtz Distress on sale. The stains, the pads, the re-inkers, the distress markers. We will also have the Stampendous stamps on, no, Stampendous. Oh, I'm so sorry, Technique Tuesday. We'll have the Technique Tuesday stamps on sale for you, but the Greenhouse Society stamps we only have so many of. So we've got the 2 that I've got here. We've got the sunflower We've got the sunflower left, and we have got the cattail, what we call cattails. So we've got these two left. I've got more of the sunflower than the cattail, and we'll put those online. They're $13, and they will be free shipping. Our Greenhouse Society stamps will always be free shipping, but you've got to get them while we've got them. Now, if for some reason it shows back ordered on your order when you order it, that means the original quantity that we put into the system has sold out. But I try to keep a few extra on the side just in case I don't see that they've sold out before you've placed an order. So if it shows back ordered, we'll let you know if you're going to actually receive it or not. But generally, we do keep a couple on the side to fill those orders that I wasn't able to take the item off before you got it in your cart. So I would not pass up either of these two stamps. They're absolutely gorgeous. So we'll have the Technique Tuesday Greenhouse Society for free shipping. We'll put all of their other stamps that we have on sale on a YouTube Yummy. We'll put all the Tim Holtz Distress on a YouTube Yummy. We'll put the Stampendous detailed embossing powder in the colors that we carry, and I want to say it's white, gold, silver, and black on a YouTube Yummy. And what's a YouTube Yummy? It's the sale. It's where you get 15% all of these items. We'll put the Tim Holtz grid blocks on the YouTube Yummy, and we'll put the Elizabeth Craft Design Scissors on a YouTube Yummy. So you've got a whole bunch of stuff to choose from. And let me just show you. I mean, how gorgeous is that? I think they came out so beautiful, and they're so sophisticated. I think the colors are absolutely magnificent, and you can only achieve them with the Tim Holtz Distress stains. So I am going to tilt on up, and I am going to say, look at, I still got my mini ears on. I'm going to say, this is Stacy, and where are you going to get all of these wonderful products I just showed you? Well, you are going to shop at www.shop@sms.com. That's shop, the word at, sms.com, or www.shop@scrapbookingmadesimple.com. So again, the word at, A-T, or www.scrapbooking-made-simple.com. I'm losing my voice. Excuse me. So those are the three places. They all get you, the three addresses, they all get you to the exact same place. The YouTube Yummy will be good 1 week from the original load date of this YouTube, which today is October 9th, 2012. So if you're watching this in 2013, I'm sorry, but these aren't on sale anymore. But there's always something new coming out. If you are interested in Tim Holtz Christmas, the Tim Holtz Christmas dies by Sizzix, boy, if you're not on our email, you want to get on our email. Tim Holtz Christmas on their way this weekend. You want to know about that, and the only way to know about that is to be on our email. How do you get on our email? You can go to our website, www.shop@sms.com, and sign yourself up, and that way you get all the happenings here at Scrapbooking Made Simple and everything that goes on sale online, because I do other things for online customers that have nothing to do with YouTube Yummies. You never know. You want to get those emails. All right, I'm going to go for today. Thank you so much for all your orders from the anniversary sale. Look for your shipping confirmation soon, and we'll see you next time, okay? Bye.